Welcome to Stay Humble podcast, Alex Benson. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, David. Thank you. I'm good. Well, I'm trying to stay positive, mate, under these circumstances, mate. But yeah, I'm good. I've just recently moved house, so I've got plenty on the plate, mate. Plenty to keep me busy. So
Certainly challenging just moving house, let alone dealing with this at the moment, I can imagine.
yeah, well, we was due to move literally a week before lockdown, so we'd packed the other place up. Everything was in boxes. I packed all my clothes into suitcases, and like 5 days prior to moving, they literally locked everything down. So, you know, it's been fine. There are people in worse situations than me, but nobody's problems are ever as big as your own. So when we got the all clear to move last Friday, we was gone. So it's been a challenge, mate. Obviously, nowhere's open. It was difficult getting removal guys to work and stuff. So, but it's something we'll talk about in the future and remember. So it's all right.
That's great. Firstly, I just wanted you to give us a little bit of a brief introduction about yourself, Alex. Just for those that are listening.
So obviously, my name is Alex Benson. I am 35 years old now. I'm getting on. So, I mean, for those that are listening that are kind of tuning in for the sort of topics that we're discussing, I think the main thing to speak about for me is my background in sport and obviously what I currently do now in the gym. So I played rugby league all my life. I started playing at 5 years old as an amateur in Hull, as every kid in Hull seems to. And then was lucky enough to progress into, you know, the professional ranks. I played at Hull FC from, 16 to 21, 22. And then I had 7 years playing in the championships, obviously a drop below Super League. And, it was amazing. It was a great time. It was something I look back on now with good memories. And then from there, I progressed into owning a gym, which is what I do now. I know we'll go into this in more detail later, but I opened Proactive Performance as it was back then, off the back of my love for all things training, really, strength and conditioning, athletic development, sports performance. I thought I was going to change the world of strength and conditioning in England. And then I soon realised that we don't live in America and there aren't the amount of athletes that are willing to pay for coaching. Yeah, well, that was it, exactly that, mate. I sort of started listening to Jody Franco's stuff and looking into, the way that he runs his gym and the NFL Combine style gyms like Exos and, Mike Boyle and what have you. And we opened an amazing facility. I was a terrible businessman. I had no idea what I was doing. Again, we'll go into it later. But, that was amazingly, mate. I mean, you was probably one of our first members. That'll be, I think, 7 or 8 years ago this summer.
It was 2013, I can recall off the top of my head.
Yeah, 7 years, mate. 7 years is crazy. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind. But yeah, today I've got a family, I've got 2 kids, and that's kind of what it's all about, really. So, my life was taken up by sport. The last 7 years, my life's been taken up by the gym and having little people running around me. So that's it. I'm quite a simple kind of dude, really.
That's great. I appreciate you giving us that really description of that. What I would like to delve into first, obviously, like you talked about there, before it was called, what it's called now, Proactive Fitness, it was called Proactive Performance. And I wanted to ask you kind of a bit more depth in terms of what was the switch like going from a sort of semi-professional sports, even full-time, I think imagine you was first. Then going from that to becoming a full-time business owner, and like, how did you find that as a change to you?
Yeah, difficult. I mean, one of the reasons that I wanted to open the gym, obviously, I loved training. I loved being around the boys, as it were. And as much as I loved playing the games, it's the atmosphere that you get, as you all know yourself, when you're around like-minded people and that training environment and the work that you put in, having like an end goal almost, like seeing the fruits of your labour with feeling stronger and fitter and better on the field. Because I was a lazy bastard originally. I from like late teen years, when stuff starts to get a little bit more serious, I hated it. I hated conditioning. I hated the weights room. It wasn't something, I probably told myself I was interested in it, but when it came down to it and shit got hard, I wasn't the hardest working guy there. And then I don't know what it was. Like I just had this this moment where I realized that the harder I worked off the field, the easier everything was going to be. And I think it's probably like in my years at Doncaster, and then especially when I went to York, I started training properly and looking into strength and conditioning, and it became an interest for me. It was a hobby. Even though obviously it was affecting what I did on the field, because I'm from a generation of athletes, let's call them, that when I was younger, training was about getting big. It was about looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. There wasn't any power cleans. There wasn't front squats and RDLs and what have you. It was about pec flies and fucking calf raises. Do you know what I mean? So learning that for myself, it literally was. It was about that whole Bradford Bulls tight t-shirts. Everybody looks like a little bodybuilder running around rugby field, and I started to learn a little bit, and I was interested in the science behind it anyway, and I was always interested in the anatomy, weirdly, from being a kid. And I sort of looked at, like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do after this? And a company called Fit UK came into a lot of professional sports clubs at that time and delivered courses to players to give them something to do. Once they're finished, nobody earns enough money in rugby to retire on. It's not football.
No.
So there's initiatives put into place by the Rugby League to give people something as far as education is concerned. And that started my journey, because I did the PT qualification, but I also then started to do some tutoring for Fit UK, because I was a qualified tutor as well. So I sort of started getting these ideas about the gym, but opening a gym when you've got 2 kids and a mortgage and a wife, and it's like, there's absolutely no security in that whatsoever. And I wasn't a businessman. It is a big risk. It was a massive risk. And I remortgaged my house to do that at the time. And I look back now and I think, how the fuck did I manage to do that? Like, how have we got to the point we're at now? And, it was a case of trying to cover my bases. So you'll remember way back when I did open the gym, we had a room in there. So Fit UK used to pay rent on the room. I was also getting paid a wage from Fit UK to deliver the courses, which kind of covered the overheads, and it gave me a bit of a security blanket as far as my own personal income was concerned. And then it allowed me to open this facility where guys like you, that was sporting, that was rugby players, athletes, weightlifters, powerlifters, could have a gym that they could flourish in, because your typical commercial gym, they're getting better, to be honest, but at that time they probably weren't the best environments to be training in for people like you and me. I basically created a gym for myself. I created a place that I'd love to train in, and I knew there was like-minded people like myself that would also feel the same, which you can probably agree with, because you've been there for 7 years now. We wanted to create an atmosphere and an environment that replicated everything that I loved about rugby. All the boys in the free weight room together, all the boys after a session when you've been flogged in pre-season and it's fucking horrible at the time, but that feeling that you get after the session and everybody doing that together is something that is really difficult to replicate. And your average trainer and your weekend warriors, it's very difficult for them to experience that. So I wanted to create at that time an environment where people could feel that experience as well. It wasn't about tight t-shirts and bicep curls. It was about serious trainers, and that's what we created, and it was amazing. And I think we've kind of kept that culture to this day, even though it's a completely different place as far as the business setup is concerned and our development as a gym, in a positive way. But at that time, it was like, fuck yeah, you literally felt like you'd walked into a pre-season session at a rugby club, at a professional team. Everybody's doing fucking power cleans, and, front squatting heavy weights. It was like it was amazing. Everybody was buzzing off each other. But I knew there was something in that, and that's what I was passionate about. And I think that's what gave me the drive to make it work. I've said already a couple of times, I didn't have a fucking clue. I didn't know what VAT was. I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. I didn't know, profit margins and all the things that take up my day-to-day life now. What I did know was I was a good coach, and I knew that I could get the best out of people. I did my UKSCA accreditation. I was in the top 7% qualification-wise of coaches in the country. And I knew that I had the passion to make it work. And that's something I'm a big believer in now. Like, it's something that I kind of preach about. Is, I think for me, if shit's left up to me, I'm really confident in my own abilities to make things work. If I want something bad enough, I'll fucking get it. You know, if I want to make something work, I'll get it, and I will take responsibility for that. I hate leaving shit up to other people. I'm a pest when when you're chasing orders, or you rely. This house move, for example, I'm ringing the solicitors every day. I'm ringing the estate agents every day, like, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. Because I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to that. So I knew that it was a risk, but I knew I'd make it work because I had to.
Yeah.
A choice. You know what I mean? I just remortgaged my house and put all my eggs into one basket. And, luckily it's worked out really, really well. But because we made changes, because we learned, because we made failures, and because we adapted, it's worked to what it is today. We can go into that in more detail later on if you want to. But, it was a hard transition, mate. It was a hard transition, to go back to your question. But the one thing that I did really, really enjoy, and the one thing that when I'm looking at, people ask me if I miss rugby. I don't miss playing rugby. I would miss it more if I didn't work in an environment that I work in now. If I sat at a desk 9 to 5, in shirt and trousers and stuff like that, it'd kill me. But the one thing that I wanted to do was create an environment that I want to work in. Be around people that I want to be around, and create a culture that I loved playing sport and carrying that camaraderie over. So we knew that we was onto something, but we just didn't know really how to steer that ship. If that makes sense.
That's a really good answer to that question for me. And I was just going to kind of go on to like another question that I was going to follow up with, but I feel like you've pretty much answered it in terms of.
Go on, ask it anyway, David.
It was basically just to ask you if you still miss that camaraderie of being in a team environment. How did you feel moving away from being in a full-time sports environment? I mean, obviously, like you said, you've gone into something that you are passionate for, and you're still able to have that day-to-day banter with your clients and stuff like that. So you've still got that and with your coaches.
Yeah, we get away with murder there. Like we are piss takers, and I think that's what attracts people to us. We're just real guys. Like, we do know what we're doing. We just don't believe in our own hype, because we're just dickheads. We're just dickheads that want to take the piss. And you've been around rugby changing rooms all your life. Like, that's where it comes from. That's what attracts people like us to the sport and team sports in general, and being around like-minded people and just being in them changing rooms and on the bus on the way back from a game. For me, you cannot not replicate that, but you cannot not put enough value into how much that means. It's not the 80 minutes, you know what I mean? It's the other stuff.
People can't understand that.
But they can't. And until you're around it, until you're in it, they just don't. And they are. When I think of playing, I miss the car journeys. Like, I was chatting to a mate of mine not long ago, and we was talking, reminiscing about some of the stupid shit we used to do in the car journeys on the way to Doncaster 5 times a day, a week. So everyone was full time there, and all that kind of stuff. And they're the memories that I've got. Like, I haven't got that many memories of actually playing, because it was your job, it's what you did. Like, that's the shit you did week in, week out. It's the holidays, it's the car journeys, it's the camaraderie. And if I didn't have something similar to that, I would miss it massively. I miss it anyway. I probably retired too early, Dave, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I had a little go at rugby union, and I had that year at Westall, but I probably stopped playing at championship level a little bit too early. But I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. I'm not going to look back and go, why did I do that? But at the time, it was the right thing to do. And at the time, it was a choice between family, future job, and playing rugby. And my future job was giving up the time to actually build a client base to start coaching, with the aspiration of opening up a gym. And now, if that hadn't worked out, I'd look back at that time and go, why the fuck did I do that? But now I look where I'm at now, and I look what we've created now, 7 years down the line. I think, actually, it was the right decision. But hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, well, like you say, you've done the right thing in terms of looking after yourself and looking after the business to what it is now. I just wanted to go on there a bit now, is to talk about sort of Proactive is basically being created from like scratch, in terms of the community and culture. How did you find that process of creating that sort of community and culture that you have created there now?
Yeah, I mean, the proactive fitness that we know now, it was easier because we became a private gym. You know, there's a handful of people that still do their own thing. You'd be one of them, but you know, one of the best things that happened to me in my life, and obviously in my business career, was meeting somebody who had the same aspirations as me, but also was just the same as me as a person, and that was Jay. Like, Jay is me 10 years younger. You know, he had the bit between his teeth. He fucking grafted his balls off, and when he became Jay started out as a member. Jay became an apprentice. Jay became a coach. He became a freelance coach. He then bought my ex-business partner out. We then bought out Fit UK. And then from there, it's just a completely different place. And the culture we had in the gym originally as Proactive Performance, it kind of created itself because of the type of gym that we run. There was a real hard-working, you know, lads
Chalk
type
everywhere.
culture. Chalk everywhere, you know, shit everywhere, no paint on the walls, like the track had tears in it. Yeah. Nobody gave a fuck because we could lift heavy weights and we could do what we want. And it was like the world's biggest garage gym, really, wasn't it? Where all the lads got together and trained. And, you know, it's not somewhere where I look at our membership base now, we're probably about 70% female. You know, we attract a group of people that want to work really hard, that appreciate coaching, and that want to have a laugh and enjoy the experience of coaching in our gym, because we will take the piss out of you. You know, we've got anaesthetists that work in there, we've got lawyers that work in there, and then we've got somebody that just has like a fairly normal 9-to-5 job, and it doesn't matter. As soon as you come through that door, they're there for the experience, which is, we'll have a laugh. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what your training history is, doesn't matter how much money you've got in your bank account. We are creating a culture here where we'll work hard, we'll have fun. Because that's what it comes down to, Dave. Like, if you don't enjoy the process, you will not get results. You know, we can go into the finite detail of science and anatomy and biomechanics and fucking sets and reps and periodization. At the end of the day, 9 out of 10 people that walk in a gym, if they do that consistently 2-3 times a week, you know, 52 weeks a year, then they'll get results. They'll get results through consistency. And the reason that most people fail in gyms is because they don't train in an environment or train with people where A, they get told what to do by experts, but B, they enjoy the process. They want to fucking be there. And one thing that we say at our place is, we are going to make this the best hour of your day. And it is, because everybody's got kids and everybody's got a job and everybody's got that kind of live for the weekend 9-to-5 attitude. Or actually, what about if we just come in this place, shut the door, and for an hour, you can fucking do what you want. You can be whoever you want to be. It is a release, mate. It's a bit of catharsis for people, but, you know, to walk in there and get a high five off somebody, get your ass slapped, not now, social distancing, you know, and somebody call you fucking shagger, now and then shagger, like this, that, or the other, and the piss taking, and, you know, we'll go for a drink together and all that kind of stuff. Like, you don't get that in a normal gym. Every normal gym's people are looking at you and judging you because you're not wearing the best gear, or you're not lifting the biggest weight, or, you know, you're not doing bicep curls in the squat rack. Whereas in that place, like, it's our own little fucking safe haven. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like I said, one of the biggest things that you don't even get judged in. And like you say, you've got no mirrors and stuff like that for people to do any of that rubbish. So, you know, that's a great thing.
That's all I can't see yourself, Dave, when I'm doing
it. Following that,
that's it. I mean, that's it.
Following that, what did you learn from professional sport that you now apply in your business today? What, you know, like, has it had an effect on your values for the gym?
Yeah, well, on me, really, mate, more than anything. It's like, there's, how can I explain this? There's always like a cause and effect. Like, I just don't think, there are lucky people in the world that fall on their feet, but I think, you know, one of the best things anybody ever told me, and it's massively overused now, but I was lucky enough to be coached by a guy called Ellery Hanley. You will know who Ellery Hanley is. He's like voted the best British player of all time and just an absolute inspiration. And he's one of the only guys that's like coached me or I've been around that at first was kind of in awe of him because of who he was. He's like the fucking daddy, innit? And one of the best things he ever said to us was control the controllables. And he was talking about that in like a rugby context. But I just apply that to my life now, and I wind my missus up somewhat wrong because she's quite stressy naturally as a person. She'll worry about a lot of stuff that she has no direct influence over. So when it came to opening the gym, I knew that I had a direct influence over the success of that gym. Even if I was a complete novice when it came to running a business, the reason that that place was still standing and the reason that that place has now become a success is because we were in control of our own destiny, as daft as that sounds. And if, for me, we only have so much energy and we only have so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like effort and ability to give a fuck for long enough in the day to actually concentrate your efforts into something productive. And I think when we're trying to take on too much information and we give a shit about what other people think, and we are bombarded now with mobile phones and Instagram and Facebook and this and that and buy this product and what have you, like there's only fucking so much that we can take. Whereas I don't want to blow smoke up my own ass. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It could be looked at as being a little bit too blasé, and it could be looked at as not giving enough of a fuck about other things. But unless I have a direct say or a direct influence over a situation or an environment, I really don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. Like, it is what it is. Like, I know that's, again, another review was saying, but and I think that's the reason that the gym became a success, and that's something that I took from rugby. If I don't work hard, then I won't get picked. And I was club captain at York for 3 years, and it wasn't because I was the best talker, and it wasn't because I was like the best player there. But there was guys that had fucking international honours, there was ex-Super League players and all that kind of stuff. But like, I was just a big believer in, if you do your job, and if I do my job, and if he does his job, collectively as a team, we'll do all right. Yeah. It's not, you've got to do your own thing, and you've got to look after your own shit, and you've got to make your tackles, and you've got to carry the ball, and you've got to fucking eat well off the field, and you've got to train, and you've got to turn up, and all those fucking things. Every single one of those things I have direct control over. And if I don't get picked because I'm not fit enough, and because I've been eating shit and drinking too much beer and all those things, that's my fucking fault. Nobody else's fault. If the business doesn't become a success, that's my fault. We're in the middle of a pandemic now. We've been closed for 3 months. Our door has not been open for 3 months. And these people that come to our gym that we're lucky enough to be associated with have stood by us over the last 3 months so that we have a gym to open off the back of this. Now, we're not the cheapest gym in the world. We're a personal training only gym. We could be the first thing that people would get rid of if they had financial issues themselves. We had people calling us in the first week saying, can I pay you more money? Can I increase my membership tier because I want to make sure that you guys get through this? And it's like, you cannot fake that community. That doesn't happen by accident. Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing to hear that someone would be willing to just, dip into their own pocket and to admit, keep you, thinking like that.
Honestly, it's been one of the most humbling things. And I know it's, there you go.
There's a drop.
They were. We've lost people. We have lost. I'm not going to go into the numbers, but we have lost a lot of people. But we get that. We understand that. Like, people have lost jobs, people have been furloughed, and all those things. But going back to your question, we controlled the type of environment that we wanted to work in, which then had a knock-on effect of the type of people that wanted to be associated with us. And sometimes it's in situations like this, when shit hits the fan, that actual community is tested. Because we can all say, yeah, we're all fucking best friends and we've got the best community in the world. But actually now, I can say we have, because we're 3 months down the line, and we've still got 80 people booking in a day to do Zoom personal training sessions with us, day in, day out. We've got people still paying us, what they was paying us before or more, and some less, which is fucking great. They're still providing and still giving us something to make sure that we've all got a gym to come back of at the end of this. And it's like, I get to sit here now with my gym being forced to close and say that we will be able to reopen again after this and come back fucking stronger.
That's
so
great.
that, for me, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? That's a direct, that's a tangible result of the shit that's normally up in the air, which is community and all those things that people talk about. And it's like, what does that mean? Whereas now, actually, we can say, well, that's what it fucking means, because we've got a direct result of the community that we've created.
Oh, that's great to hear that. I just wanted, just then when you're just on about that, I think that's a really key point, just that control the controllables. I think, like you say, today we seem to live in a world that we pass the blame on to something else. Like you say, like we don't take control of that action. We just seem to pass that on and pass the blame buck, really. So that is certainly something I would, certainly something that I first was made aware of in rugby in terms of controlling that. And I think more people need to use that as a way of life, of being able to control their own actions and control everything.
You've got to be accountable, Dave. And I think, like, I don't want to go. I'm not a mental health expert at all. I'm happy. That's all I can talk about, really, and that's as far as my expertise goes. But I do honestly think that we live in a culture of blame, and we live in a culture where people will not take responsibility and accountability for the way they look, the way they feel, the way they act, their lack of aspiration. I think it's really, really simple. People have got issues that I'm not qualified to talk about, so I'm not going to talk about that at all. However, I think sometimes it's like, if you had a goal, if you made sacrifices to work towards that goal, if you ate meat and vegetables, you drank water, and you got some sleep, you'd be all right. Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes people can focus on those little things, because it's like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this fucking issue that I've got over here. It's called weight loss. I'm not a weight loss expert. I'm a coach. I have never, ever said that I'm an amazing nutritionist. I'm not. I leave that up to other people. We've got people more qualified than me in our business that look after that sort of thing. However, what I'm not going to do is start talking about hormone deficiencies and X, Y, and Z, when actually the reason that I don't have a six-pack is because I absolutely love a beer on a weekend and a full tube of Pringles. That's my fault. I did that, right? I also now don't give a fuck. I'm happy with the way that I look. If I wanted to look better, I know the changes that I need to make. What I wouldn't do is go finding all the fucking information in the world and blaming other things for my lack of six-pack, when actually it's because I absolutely love a brew dog on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Do you see what I mean? Like that's the point. Like, I'm not strong enough. All right, get stronger then. Go to the gym, train. Oh yeah, but it's my genetics. Get stronger. Go to the gym, train. Like, look after your own shit. And I think you make a good point. Like, there is a blame culture. People don't take accountability for stuff. And I'm only talking about things, there are other underlying issues with some people that do need more help. And again, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not an expert. But I think if people just started owning their own shit a little bit more and taking a little bit more pride in their own journey, as it were, without getting too deep about it, I think they'll probably find out they can achieve some really fucking good things.
Definitely. Right, what I'm going to move on to now is more towards like the present in terms of the gym. And I obviously covered this a little bit with Jay in terms of, we're currently obviously going through a pandemic and a situation where we're currently still under a bit of a lockdown situation. It's not what it was before. And I just wanted to ask you sort of like, what have been the challenges for yourself personally first, or sort of business?
Yeah, I think going back to what I was talking about before, because I'm a little bit of a control freak, I think the thing that I've struggled with the most personally is that the whole thing has been taken out of our hands. Our baby has been taken away from us. Yeah. We found out. So we was literally sat in a meeting. There was Benna, my missus, myself, and Jay sat down. I was like, right, because there was talk of a lockdown coming in, and some people started to stay away. And it was like, look, do we take the reins and do we close the gym? Is it irresponsible for us to stay open? So it was literally in the middle of that meeting when the announcement was made that gyms had to close. And our initial feel was, fuck, like, that's it, game over. Nobody's going to stay with us. Nobody's going to keep paying us, £159 a month when they can't come in the gym. and then was like, look, let's turn this around. From literally the Friday night, we had a meeting with the boys on the Saturday, and then by the Monday morning, we had 105 people booked in for online personal training via Zoom.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, fucking yeah, wow, exactly. So we was just reactive, and that's what it came down to, and that was different for us. Excuse the pun. We are very proactive. You know, we know our numbers. We know what we want to get. We know how many people we normally lose. We know how many people we want to take on. We know where our gym wants to be. And we are very numbers driven in the way that we run our business, which Jay maybe spoke about a little bit more. But then to have that taken away and to go, look, close your doors. It's like, right, fuck, now what? What do we do? Like, what do we do? We've stood in front of laptops, like coaching people to do press ups. It's like, I didn't train for this. We don't know what we're fucking doing. I think the way that we've adapted to that situation, there was a lot of other gyms like ours. We're part of like an alliance, like a fitness business alliance, you know, for the sort of best training facilities across the country. You know, we was the only gym to do that. We was the only gym to do that. And I will go into the numbers. Our retention rate over this has been 80%. We've lost 20%, or 20% have frozen and will be back. So we've retained 80% of our client base. There's gyms in there that have lost 50%. You know, there's gyms in there that have lost 60% because they just didn't know what to do. Whereas, you know, the challenge for us was to be reactive and to stay, you know, as positive as possible. And again, control the controllables. What can we do about it? Well, the one thing we can't do is open. The other thing that we can't do is coach our people in person. So what can we do? What's the next best thing that we can do? Tell you what, we'll coach them online. We'll give our equipment away. We'll give our dumbbells and kettlebells to our members. We'll coach them online. We're not going to turn it into star jumps and bare peas like all the other online coaches and YouTube fitness videos you see. You know, we're still going to give you coaching. You're still going to get an experience of community because you're training with your friends and you can see everybody else's faces. You know, who's doing the quizzes on a Friday night so people could have a drink and we could see and we could take the piss, and we just tried to recreate the gym in a virtual world. But I'm not going to lie, at first it was horrendous. Like, I was shitting myself. You know, we just went down a worst case scenario of the numbers, and that's again where I found it helped me get through this, was to control the numbers and go, look, this is where we're at. This is where we can save some money. This is what it's going to look like if we lose X, Y, and Z, and then just literally reverse engineered it from there. So, you know, if we just sat back and went, you know, it is what it is, like fucking coronavirus, like everybody else seems to have done. It's like, oh, well, fuck, I've lost 50%. Yeah, well, it's easy to do that and go, oh, I've lost 50% of my members. Well, yeah, but what did you do? Like, what did you do to not lose 50% of your members? So, you know, it was difficult. It was difficult because what we've been speaking about already is that community and being around people and taking the piss out of people. And I found now more in this last 3 months that I need to be around people. I've been in a team sport since I was 5 years old. I need to see people and, you know, fucking run in the gym, take the piss out of everybody and you know, high fives and all that bullshit. I need that. And this last 3 months has kind of showed me that I need that more than ever. So we've done well, mate. We've done well. It was scary at first. So our aspirations going forward is to secure the future of the gym. You know, we want to ring fence our members that have stuck by us, and you know, we will be forever, you know, in debt to those guys to give us the opportunity to go at it again. You know, but it has given us an opportunity to reset. It has given us an opportunity to change a few things in the business. You know, our business is really systematic in the way that it works because, you know, Jay and I have created an environment where we can work in that way. You know, systems avoid any fuck ups on a day-to-day basis. So we are very systematic in the way that we do things, like I say. So, but it's just given us the opportunity to look at a few things and say, well, maybe that won't working. You know, we was doing it that way because that's the way we've always done it. You know, which is the way a lot of people go about things. Well, actually, do we need to do that anymore? Like, oh, can we add this in here? Is there anything we can do in the business? So, I mean, this next quarter, you know, to the end of the year, I think it's just going to be about retaining the members that we've got, building trust again in training and in gyms, and then, you know, maybe look to take on some new members. I think there's a lot of people that have created positive exercise habits during this 3 months. You know, there's more people cycling and running than I've ever seen. You know, everybody's training at home. Maybe they want to start taking that to the next level, but maybe they don't want to go in a commercial gym where you can't keep social distancing and isn't the cleanest and what have you, where in our gym, it's limited numbers, it's appointment only, you're getting a bit of a human touch and community, exactly that thing that we've all missed out on for the last 3 months. So, you know, I think we could thrive off the back of it and help as many people as we can. And, you know, once that is secure and once we are back in a position where the gym is I don't say comfortable, but I don't know what the right word is, really like self-sufficient again.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. Me and Jay, I don't mind telling you. I'm pretty sure Jay's an open and honest guy. Like he's an open book. I've quite enjoyed the stress of this situation because we are very systematic and because the gym was self-sufficient. We could have been guilty of resting on our laurels if we were that way inclined. Whereas this last 3 months, it's been like, fuck, like shit's at the fan. You know, we're working proactive on that. Exactly, yeah. You're working on adrenaline again, and it's like, right, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And it's been strangely enjoyable because it reminds me of what was like 7 years ago, which I will moan like fuck about day in, day out and go, God, it was so tiring and I hated it and I was working, you know, 18-hour days and all this bullshit. Actually, it was quite cool. So, you know, there might be other things that we might do. You know, there might be other gyms. There might be, you know, second facilities. If you'd have asked me this question a year ago, I'd have said no. But who knows? I'm 35 years old. I've got lots and lots of time in front of me. You know, surely there's something else that we could do and other environments that we can create for people to train and sort of get the same experience that we have. And I think that might be something that we look at in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to follow on that little bit of a point that you made where you said about people obviously taking new exercise habits and increasing obviously their exercise. I do think there's another little thing that I was just going to pick up on here was the fact that a lot of people obviously after New Year come to sign up to gyms and stuff. And I imagine it won't be just people that are picking up their activity levels. It could be the people that have actually spent 10 weeks just sitting on the sofa, you know, just basically not doing anything with that time. And they may also want to be the sort of people that come to you, or obviously, like you said, the people that have been active will maybe come towards you and join the gym. Yeah. There's another one, you know, it might be it'll certainly be a surge in that sort of activity levels once that facility is open again.
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest stumbling block that anybody's going to find is trust. And I think when you know, people look at gyms as like these overcrowded, unclean, you know, free-for-alls, whereas when people come and experience the way that we work, where, you know, we are a private facility, it is a limited amount of numbers that are in the gym. We can maintain social distancing. And that's been one of the other things. It's been so frustrating to see other industries and other shops and what have you that are able to open, when I know full well we can keep better social distancing than most of them. So to go back to your previous question, one of my biggest emotions over the last 3 months has been frustration. But yeah, back to that, mate. I think you're right. I think there's going to be a lot of people that have looked at the last couple of months as like an extended holiday. You know, the weather's been great. People have been in the garden, drinking beer. You know, Tuesday night feels like Saturday night. So I think, you know, there are a lot of people that maybe will need to get up off the backsides and do something positive. I think there's a lot of people that, from a mental point of view, you know, I'm lucky enough to have a family around me and see other faces day to day. You know, some people have gone through the last 3 months on their own. Yeah. You know, so I think coming back to a gym where there is community and there is a good environment to be around, I think it's going to tick that box for a lot of people as well. And you know, I think people that have picked up new habits, that have now made exercise a part of their life, they've got the ball rolling, which is always the hardest bit. It takes more energy to start a ball rolling than it does to keep it rolling. I think if they want to keep it rolling and they want to take it to the next level, they're maybe going to want coaching. They're maybe going to want some expertise. And that is exactly what we do in a safe environment where you also have a fucking laugh. So I think from that point of view, yeah, if you take all the things that this lockdown has taken away from us, I know as a gym, we can provide that. Yeah. You know, if you've been a lazy bastard, let's get you back moving. You know, let's lose some weight. Let's fucking open your body up and discover some movement. You know, if you started cycling and you've never trained before in your life, maybe you want to start doing some resistance training. Come get some coaching. You know, if you've missed camaraderie, come have your ass slapped from 2 meters away. You know, in a positive way. People need to come to our gym to realize that we're not just a load of perverts. Like,
no.
So. But yeah, no, you're right, mate. You're right. I think it'll be like a new January the 1st, just on steroids.
Yeah, definitely. And for yourself, like you mentioned there briefly about people forming habits themselves, have you formed anything new, or created some new ideas, or formed anything differently from what you would have done before this?
I think the only thing that we've done that we was probably a little bit guilty of, and this was my fault for always being busy. I'm too busy. Is like everybody else. As a family, we have made more of an effort to exercise together. You know, whether that's going for a walk together. We've been out for a bike ride. Mrs. finally bought a bike, so we've all been out for a bike ride today. The first time the four of us have been out together. You know, training with my kids more. You know, my daughter's 10. She's an absolute fucking athlete. So she just wants to train all the time. You know, we was doing PE lessons online with her. So I've been going running with her and training with her in the garden and just using the environment more, cycling, running, you know, exploring, you know, rather than just my training being gym centric. And my body feels better for it. You know, I've sort of, obviously because I can go into the gym on my own and train. I've been in and training. Me and Jay trained the other day, and my strength's still very decent. Like, it's still probably where it was pre-lockdown, but my body feels better. You know, my shoulder was knackered before. It feels decent. My lower back, I've had surgery on my lower back in the past. That sometimes gets a little bit niggly. Touch wood, I've had no issues. It's just trying to become a more well-rounded trainer, which I think is one of the only sort of real positive habits I've kind of created through this. I'm not going to lie, I've also quite enjoyed just a little bit of time to myself and my family, because obviously we are really busy. We're always in the trenches with the gym, which I love, don't get me wrong. But it has been nice to just like go, right, come on, let's go for a walk, and not be looking at the clock and wondering when I need to be back at the gym and when I've got a consultation and all that kind of stuff. So I think one thing that I want to do going back to work is just to set a few more boundaries. Is, look, this is my time here. This is where I need my time, you know, and that's not to say I'm going to be lazy, but for me, I feel more energized and I feel like a better person when I've almost been a little bit selfish. Jay did a really good post on it the other day. Jay posted on Instagram, I don't know if you saw it, saying that he's been selfish and he's had one of the best months of his life. And sometimes being selfish has like negative connotations and people think that's a really bad trait. Well, actually, if you take some time for yourself to train, you know, for your own mental health, it'll probably make you a better person with the people that you're around anyway, and it'll probably make you more productive at work. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a point that I looked at myself in that way. Like, I probably looked around and thinking like, oh, I need to change other people, but really it's myself. I've got to look inwardly and look how I can change, you know, myself first. And that comes from, like you say, giving yourself more time and look at ways that you can do that. And I felt certainly.
I think the problem is, Dave, I think we create false expectations, or we feel like people expect a certain amount from us. Have you read The Chimp Paradox?
I have, yes.
So do you know what? There's a part in that book that sort of stuck with me, and it's like he uses an example of somebody staying late after work. You know, they finish at 5. There's a little bit of work that needed finishing, so they stayed till 5:30, and then the next day they create their own little anxiety when it gets to 5 o'clock, because they're like, if I leave at 5, people will now think I'm a lazy bastard because I left at 5:30 last night. So then you've created your own issues, and you've created like your own little anxiety of, well, fuck, everybody's going to think I'm really lazy because I'm not there. And I think sometimes when it's like, I kind of feel like I have to justify to my staff and sometimes to Jay and go, this is why I'm not at the gym. Where actually, if I've done everything that I need to do and everybody's happy and everybody's productive, why do I need to do that? And I think sometimes we create those issues ourselves. My missus is the world's worst. Like, I speak to my missus about this all the time. You know, it's better now. She works with the gym. But, you know, when she worked in the NHS previously, she'd create her own fucking anxiety thinking that everybody expected, because she'd set this bar here, but only in her own mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody expected you to stay late and finish those fucking 5 emails. Do them tomorrow. Do them tomorrow. But then if she didn't do them, she'd get pent up about it. And I think you're right. I don't think it's other people and what other people are thinking of you. I think it's what we think other people are thinking of us.
Yeah, I think that's certainly like a justification, and I think a lot of the stuff I've read, certainly from sort of stoicism sort of stuff nowadays, is just to not let people, like, just don't care about what people think of you and stuff like that. Just, you know, just ignore that sort of, in that sort of world of thinking now.
It's hard though these days, isn't it? Because everything is like instant gratification. Like, it's all about the likes and it's all about the shares and Instagram and TikTok and all that sort of stuff. And like, you know, I'm not going to go into it too much, but I had to have that conversation with my daughter the other day. It's like, stop comparing yourself to other people. You're a 10-year-old girl. Enjoy the process. Have fun. You are a young lady. You know, stop looking at the other girls on TikTok and, you know, why do they get so many likes and this, that, and the other. It's like, mate, it don't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's irrelevant.
That's totally that's relevant to me in terms of, I think one of the things that people used to say about being present with that as well, like, you know, say like people, how it's changed in like a concert setting, for instance. You go to a concert 10 years ago, 20 years ago, no one would have had a phone out recording it. Now, some people spend the whole ticket price that they've just spent watching it through their phone lens rather than actually being present, enjoying the atmosphere. And, you know, these are the things that have changed now, unfortunately, and hopefully more people will be more present and just forget about it.
100%. Don't get me wrong, I do record the odd thing now and again, but it's like talking about that whole changing room mentality before with rugby. You know, can you imagine if everybody had phones, like back in the day? Like, I sound like I'm a really old man, but, you know, when you was in the changing rooms fucking around with each other and the things you'd be doing and all that shite. These days, all anybody does, as soon as somebody's acting up or somebody's being daft, or like if you've had a few beers in town, just the phones are out videoing people. Like, it's just like, stop it. Just have fun without documenting absolutely fucking everything. It does drive me insane. But I'm an old man now. In this whole generation of this digital world that we live in, I'm past that, and I'm quite glad about that, actually, Dave.
Yeah, glad. I think you'd be glad that you're not involved in that, as sometimes at rugby now we're changing rooms with people on the phones.
I couldn't be doing with it. I couldn't be doing with it.
It's awful.
Yeah,
right,
it's ridiculous.
Let's move on futuristically. I asked this question to Jay, and I'm going to ask it to you. And basically, I think you might have maybe come across this question before, but basically, what would be your perfect day? And like, what would bring you your most fulfillment, not so much pleasure? So, like, what would be your sort of perfect day when this is obviously we're not in lockdown?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good question. For me, it would be waking up early, but with no alarm. So, you know, 6 o'clock or something, coming down, having a coffee, going through like boring shit emails, notifications, and getting that out of my head, and then going into the gym, training myself, so getting a decent session in, and then just spending time at the gym. I love sitting back and watching like people coming in, people training, when I have no involvement with them, because like that was my baby, and that's mine and Jay's baby now, and that was like just sit back sometimes and just take it in. It sounds really, that's it, mate. You know, you're seeing people come in, and you're seeing the people, you're seeing the things that we've worked on with the boys get translated to the members. Like, they are an extension of us, and they bring their own shit to the table, those guys. But, you know, seeing things tick nicely. So to get up on my terms, have a coffee, get some boring work stuff out of the way, and then train, and then just kind of sit back in that environment and just be there just to piss take, and, you know, just be a pest and just be around the place and just to make sure shit's running smoothly. And then, you know, really simple, you know, now obviously we're talking about the walks and stuff, come back, spend some time with the family, you know, do something together. Instead of it being, I look back now like 3 or 4 months ago, and everything was a rush. Fuck, it's school run, it's this, it's that, it's pack ups, and you just don't get time to actually, something you just mentioned a couple of seconds ago, just to be present, go for a walk together, you know, sit down at the same table and eat a meal together. and just spend some time as a family. And for me, that's all it's really about. I am a really, really simple, boring person. I have no aspirations to, drive super fast cars and, go on lavish holidays 2 to 3 times a year. Like for me, it genuinely just is about experiences. And if I can, better myself in my training, and I can be at my gym experiencing everything that Jay and I have worked so hard to create together, and then to come home and spend time with a family that, I'm proud to be a part of, that's it. I'm fucking done with that. I'm okay with that, cook, sit, chill out, watch a film. Like, honestly, like that's me. Like, I'd be all right with that. I'm happy, just zero stress, very, very chilled out kind of person.
That's really good to hear that. Yeah.
That was really boring, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, it wasn't boring at all. I just remember the first time I asked Jay that, and he was like, "Is it in Hull?" And I was like, "No, well, it has to be. Sorry, it has to be in Hull." I think he was suggesting like it was going to be on some beach or something, and I was like, "No."
Yeah, Jay likes the sun, doesn't he? Jay, he'd be wandering down the beach in his new shit flip flops that he's bought. You seen his new sandals?
I have indeed, yeah, and there'll probably be some short shorts as well.
Yeah, very short shorts. His childish sandals, and topping up his tan. But yeah, no, Jay's. I don't speak for Jay. I'm pretty sure Jay's similar to me. Like Jay's about experiences. Maybe different experiences. Me and him are in different places as far as that's concerned. Like, I've got kids and a family, and I'm 10 years older than him. But morally, we are cut from the same cloth, and that's what's made it work between us. Like that's, to have a partnership and to go through the shit that me and Jay have been through over the last 7 to 8 years together, and still be fucking best mates off the back of it. Like it is testament to the fact that we are just, pretty much the same person, and he is about experiences. We have the same morals, and I think that's why it works.
Definitely. And now I'd like to ask, I mean, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I probably want to go a bit further afield. So obviously said about sort of what are your like ambitions like moving forward in the future? Is there any like personal ambitions, or, I mean, obviously touched on the gym and potential things, but.
Yeah. Honestly, Dave, I think this is the one thing that I get most frustrated with myself about, and this I've got no definite answer to here. I think I probably spent the last maybe year to 2 years thinking what's next. And that doesn't mean that I'm done with proactive. So when I talk about the future and I talk about other aspirations, the main thing is proactive fitness. That's what provides me with a lifestyle. That's what gives me enjoyment. Like that is our fucking baby. First and foremost, definitely. But because I am a business owner, not a coach, you don't create a business to create yourself a job. Mm-hmm. And at first, that's what it was, obviously, like everybody else. But we've created a business to touch and help as many people as possible, and to create opportunities for other people, such as our coaches. So if our coaches are absolutely fucking killing it on the gym floor, and everything is running smoothly and systematically, there's only so much I can do, and there's only so much I should do. Do you know what I mean? Because I surround myself with fucking people that are better at X, Y, and Z than I am. And that does then create a little bit more time. And I'm also aware of the fact that I'm still only 35. I'm joking about being old, but I'm still 35 years old. It's like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to do in the future? And I was driven by sport, and I was driven by competition. And I always joke on my training. My training goes to shit when I've got nothing to train for, because I just get fucking lazy. And it's like, I need to be working towards something. And the more successful proactive gets, the less hands-on I'll need to be.
Yeah.
So then it begs the question, what do I want to do next? Which is, if I'm being completely honest here, I don't know. I don't know whether, would it be business mentorship? Would it be coaching mentorship? I enjoy the business element of what we do. Could potentially, mate, not like in a sporting context. I probably coaches is something that does interest me. Yeah. I mean, I'm not being funny. The standard of personal training is shit. The personal training qualification itself, it's not governed. There's no exam. There's no governing body to it. There is a governing body, but they don't govern it. If that makes sense. I was a PT tutor for years, and the qualification is shit. It's shit, and it's not the PT's fault. You know, they will do a qualification, they'll pay $1,000, and in a weekend they're a fucking PT, and they can go out in the big bad world and charge £50 an hour to stand next to, you know, an old lady doing leg extensions while they look through the phone on fucking Instagram, which I've seen in person. It's like, it's daylight robbery. So I would like to improve the quality of coaching in the industry, but there are some already really good resources nationally. I think what I'd probably prefer to do is work with people in person, more hands-on, than running like a 2-bit fucking CPD qualification that doesn't mean anything. It's more like working as a mentor more with younger coaches coming through, you know, run internship programs through the gym. You know, Jay loves coaching first and foremost. Jay's more passionate about business than I am. I know my role in the business, and I am passionate about business because I run a business. But I get turned on more by reading about training than I do reading about business. Where I think with Jay now, he's the other way around, which is great because it works, because we complement each other. So, you know, I think Jay, you know, might look at something like the mentorship down the line. You know, we might look at other gyms. We might look at, you know, opening a gym that's completely different. You know, our gym is very much for the 35 to 65-year-old, you know, that is a real person that wants to get better, and that's probably, you know, never trained before or had a little go at it, but is just looking for more expertise. You know, could we look at opening a gym for absolute fucking animals where you just get destroyed? You know, because our gym's not for that. We have some fucking animals in our gym, don't get me wrong, but we don't want to ruin people. You know, is there a space there for like your 18-year-old to 25-year-old, like the Saturday Club that Jay, you know, that's Jay started, that you've been to, that atmosphere there, that fucking lads, that Proactive Performance used to be 7 years ago. Is there a space for that? Is there a space for an older person's gym? You know, a 50-plus gym that is more movement, correctional type stuff. There's different. I probably wouldn't open a second Proactive Fitness because there's no need.
No.
Our location is amazing. Yeah, there's different markets that you might get into. It might be something completely different. It might be something, you know, I've dabbled thinking, right, I might get into property. I don't know fuck all about property. The one thing that I do know about is training. So maybe there's something there. But if I was to give you a definitive answer of what is next, I ain't got a fucking clue. I ain't got a clue. And that's something that I need to sort out. This moment in time, I've got something to work towards, which is getting our gym back on track and reopening and getting back to the sort of numbers and the challenge of building trust again and maintaining the distances and all these little extra challenges that we're going to have reopening into these circumstances. But, you know, when things do get back to normal, it's like, right, what next?
That's great. Like I say, you might find what you're wanting to do as you're going through like the reopening stage, and it might fall into that. I don't know.
Yeah, of course, mate. There'll be something, because like I went back to earlier on, I think I work better when I've got something to work towards, and I work better when I'm a bit stressy. I don't like being comfortable. And if anything, I don't mind saying, maybe before all this, we was at a point in the gym where we was at good numbers, we were sitting our margins, you know, our coaches was killing it, and maybe we did get a bit comfortable. And maybe this has just been a bit of a fucking poke up the backside that we needed to get back on track and, you know, rekindle the fire a little bit. And at first, that new energy we're going to have is going to be getting our gym back on track. But then, you know, let's keep that ball rolling and see what else we can do. You know, fucking who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's definitely been a wake up call for everyone. You know, this has been 100%. Just a total thing.
Nothing's a given, is it? You know.
No one would have foreseen this. Sorry, no one would have foreseen this anyway. And like I say, it's maybe for some people it's been a blessing, and others it's been a hindrance. So it's just one of them. That, you know, it's how, like you said, how you adapted and took upon that. So what I was just going to do, I was going to ask one final question. I've not asked this to any of my guests before, but I want to ask you is, what makes you stay humble? As a question from this, what would you think keeps you humble?
I think just like you just said there, David, like fucking nothing's given. You know what I mean? Whereas shit happens, isn't it? Shit happens. Like life, nothing's a given, nothing's a certainty. You know, I have read the Stoicism stuff. I've not massively into it. I don't disagree with it. I just kind of feel like I live my life that way anyway. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think one thing to take from that is you are going to die one day. You know, you are going to die one day, and that could be tomorrow. So I think for me, it's like I just want to be a person that people want to be around. I want to be a person that people like. I want to be a person where, you know, if you used to say, what's the fucking one thing you hate about him? People would struggle to answer that question. You know, if I say that I'm going to do something to somebody, hopefully I would say that I do it. You know, I will always give my fucking 100% into any situation, because I just think it's really easy to be a nice person. It's really easy to be a good person. You just fucking like do it. And I know that sounds really stupid, but like stop making everything a thing. You know, stop fucking blaming everything. Just crack on. You know, fucking be a nice person. Be polite. You know, tell the person that you love them. Be fucking kind. And remember, one day you are going to die. You know, I've seen shit. I've seen people lose the thing in life that's fucking most precious to them. And I've seen people go through that, and it's like, fuck. And that was a wake-up call to go, shit happens, you know, and nothing's a certainty, mate. And you know, I think that is something, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Stoicism stuff talks about a lot, you know, and I'm not quoting it for that reason, but I believe that is a massive thing. It's like, we only get one go, don't we?
We do.
I don't want to get too deep about it, but we only get one go, and like, it's scary to think that one day this is going to be all over with, and the people that you surround yourself around now and the people that you love are going to watch you die and talk about you. And what they're going to say, you know, what they're going to say when again, don't want to get too morbid, don't want to get too deep, but if you was to write your own eulogy, what would you say?
Yeah.
Just do that. Just fucking do that. Just be that way, so that somebody says something nice about you when you're fucking dead and gone. And that's, for me, that's what matters. And I will control everything within my power to make sure that people will say nice things about me when I'm older and gone and dead, and everybody has fond memories of me, because it's gonna fucking happen one day.
Yeah, I totally agree on that sort of path of, you know, thinking about that sort of way. Like Jay mentioned it before, like, you know, that could happen at any time on yourselves, and you know, people probably don't think of that, and maybe just need to accept that as a way of life now.
Yeah, okay, of course. So we were always waiting, aren't they? People are always waiting for the next thing, or the waiting, like, live your. Again, sorry to be boring and bring up my daughter, but I had this conversation with my daughter. She's getting to an age now where she's becoming more aware. You know, 10-year-old girls now aren't 10-year-old girls when I was 10, because of social media and stuff like that. And you know, we do keep her safe, but it's like you're always looking for the next thing. You know, you're never living in that moment. It's always like, what next, what next, what next?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is like from the gratification that they get from other things. And it's like, you're never happy. Phoebe, you're never happy. If you draw a picture, it's never good enough. If you train, you didn't train hard enough. If you train too hard and got tired, it means that you're not good enough because you got tired. It's like, that's what training is. It's like, just enjoy the process and just live your life and enjoy that. Stop thinking of what's next, because one day there won't be a fucking what's next, and then you look back at it and go, well, fuck me, where was the end point? Do you know what I mean? What was I waiting for? Like, just enjoy this time now. Like, just have fun, make people laugh, make people jump, be a dickhead, be the clown in the room, and just like laugh and enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? Because like, that's what it's all about.
The best thing you said there is, like I say, we've got one life, we might as well, you know, make the most of it and enjoy what we have.
Yeah, it's a massively overused thing, mate. Everybody fucking says that all the time, but it's so true. It is true.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, Alex. So where can people reach out for you if you know, to make contact with you, you know, Instagram or whatever?
Yeah, I'm not massive. I'm a flicker through Instagram. I'm not an Instagram messenger. Probably Facebook. You know, is the best place for me. So just obviously my name on Facebook. You know, I accept most friend requests or message requests and stuff. Or, you know, they could email us, find our emails on the Proactive website, which is proactivehull.fit. So yeah, you know, just reach out to the Proactive page or reach out to me personally. I'm quite happy to answer any questions and help people, because, you know, that's what it's all about.
No, I really appreciate you coming on. I never expected, like when you mentioned it before, about I might about coming on the podcast, but I've really, really enjoyed your insight today, just sharing everything from, like you say, your previous like career of being a professional athlete to what you are now as a business. And, you know, all I want for you to do now is, the business is going through like a difficult time at the moment, but I'm sure like after this, it's just going to go from strength to strength from this. Like you say, you've learned from the difficulties of lockdown, and now it's going to go from hopefully from maybe next month or whenever it'll be, that you're going to go into a position where you are open, and it's just going to thrive from there.
I hope so. I appreciate that as well. Thank you. Yeah.
I just really thank you again for just jumping on. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, mate, pleasure. Thanks for having me on, mate. I enjoyed it. Thank you.